Welcome to Ask An Innovator. My name's Cole Snell. I will be your host today. I'm going to briefly introduce our esteemed guest. Here's what I prepared for this gentleman right here. Sitting to my left, there's one thing that this gentleman is not, and that is lazy. A few other things I also can confidently say about Coach, aka Fun Bobby, aka Bobby K, aka Lead Dog, aka Mr. Sub-Zero, is, oh, don't call him Bob, is that he is not short on creativity, courage, and candor. Ingredients I look for in a guest for this show: professional triathlete, CrossFit champion, husband, entrepreneur, and most importantly, innovator. Bobby Kwasny is as legit as they come. Bob, welcome to the show. I called you Bob.
It's okay.
Bobby, welcome to the show.
We go way back, buddy.
We go way back. I'm allowed to call him Bob because apparently we
went to
back.
high school together. It's all good.
Today we're going to get deep into the mind, body, and soul of innovation. Let's first talk Thunder Bay. How do you feel about Thunder Bay? You're from Thunder Bay?
Born and raised, yeah.
Born and raised.
McKellar Hospital.
Wow.
Yep, 1969, baby.
You could live anywhere in the world.
Yep.
And you're living in Thunder Bay.
Well, I wouldn't say that I could live anywhere in the world. I've lived a couple of different places in Canada. I've lived a few places in the United States, California a couple times, going to school and doing a work intern. I like it here, man. The people make any city, like whether if you're in California, it's easy to love California because it's 72 and sunny every day. There's beaches, everybody's pretty, everything's nice. But, there's something about, I don't want to, speak ill of the people anywhere else, but the people in Thunder Bay, very sincere, very polite. And I understand them a little bit better because I was born here.
Right. Your wife, your lovely wife, Andrea, is here.
She is, yep.
So that's probably a big motivator to stay put.
Yeah, that's a huge motivator.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going where she's going, just a little bit slower.
Yeah, absolutely. You own a business in Thunder Bay.
I do.
And the name of your business is?
Sled Dog Strength and Conditioning.
Sled Dog Strength. So tell me about what it's like to own a business in Thunder Bay.
Well, it's challenging. Owning a business in any city, I'm sure, is challenging. I was a part owner of a supplement store in Calgary, and every business has its own challenges. You've been run many businesses. It's Thunder Bay is a very small town, and if you kind of take care of your business on a day-to-day basis, you treat people with respect, you handle your day-to-day business in appropriate ways, word gets out, word travels fast. I try to be pretty active on social media to really kind of promote what's going on because we're in a little bit of an isolated area. It's not like you're running our business out of a big box gym or something. So people don't get to see us a whole lot. So I try to give as much insight through social media so people can see what's actually going on at the gym.
We're going to have a lot of time to talk about business.
Cool.
Business is why essentially we're here. Innovation is why you're here. Some of the things, your foundation to get you to where you are today, one of the things that strikes me as so interesting is your athletic background. Being a professional triathlete. Talk to us about being a professional triathlete and then moving into more of the fitness world.
Yeah, it was funny. I graduated from high school and university. I was a jock all the way through, all the way till I was 21 and graduated from Lakehead. And I think I got to this point in my life. I just moved back from living in Los Angeles for a while. And I was at this point in my life where I didn't have a sport to define me. I didn't have something that was a pursuit that I was chasing constantly. Because when you're a kind of a program athlete, when it's part of a school or part of an institution, they tell you what to do. You've got practices, you've got coaches. And for some reason, it got a little frustrating with me because I like to work hard. I think I've established that, or people would think of me that way. And being in a team situation, you're not always with teammates that have the same work ethic that you do. So I had this point in my life where I wasn't ready to be just another guy.
Right.
I wanted some identity that I needed to fulfill from sport and constantly be chasing something. And so I picked triathlon because this is 1992, 93.
Wow.
The options for people athletically were like slow pitch, bodybuilding, marathon running, and triathlon, really.
If you don't mind me asking, how old were you at that point?
23, I think.
23.
Yeah.
And you swim, bike, and run.
Yeah.
How long was the swim, the bike, and the run?
I came from a power sports background. I was running track. up until when I said, hey, I'm going to start doing triathlons. So yeah, the first thing is you got to teach yourself to swim. I had no swim background like a lot of people do. So
You couldn't swim.
well, I could swim from like 25 meters, but it didn't look very pretty, and I was breathing heavy by the end.
Next thing you know, you're racing 2 miles roughly? Or?
Yeah, there's the thing about triathlon. It's there's a bunch of distances between sprints and full Ironmans, double Ironmans.
Yeah.
And I like doing all of them. I like doing sprints, and I enjoyed. Well, it's hard to enjoy an Ironman per se. Sometimes, there's moments that you enjoy. The preparation for it is really cool. When you're done is really cool, but it's a long day. So depending on how your body is and what your body adapts to the certain distances and the demands. Yeah, I liked everything though. It didn't matter if it was short or long. I just wanted to race.
Track, triathlon,
Yeah.
Masters CrossFit champion seems to be more or less a kind of a power sport to an endurance sport, back to a power sport.
Yeah.
Kind of an endurance sport.
Yeah.
Tell us about being a Masters CrossFit champion. How old were you then?
42.
42.
The Ontarios, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, there's two kinds of victory, you get to these events, and I'd been established pretty at a pretty good level for about 5 or 6 years in the CrossFit, the functional fitness sporting world. And you show up to events, and especially as a Masters athlete, like I was competing in open events up until I was 40. Against really good guys who were in their 20s. And I was holding my own. I was making a podium here or there. And then when I turned 40, I got to compete against guys who were kind of in similar life situations.
Right.
So you get against these Masters athletes, and they're all super good dudes. They're all previously something in a previous life, like former national team triathlete, former professional hockey player, whatever it is that they did. And we all had at least one big injury that we had to overcome to get there. So you're kind of on more of a level playing field than going against a 23-year-old kid who still lives in his parents' basement. So you get into a situation like that, and it's the victory of relief or the victory of surprise, and that whole experience of winning the Ontarios, it was a pretty cool day. And it was more of I kind of put a little bit of pressure on myself to go and perform and to win, because that's what I was expecting from myself at the time. And, the day went pretty well, and I was excited, but at the end of the day, it was like one of those, okay, just take a deep breath, things went well.
You used to own a CrossFit gym. Did you own the CrossFit gym? It was called Sub-Zero.
Correct.
CrossFit Sub-Zero. Did you own CrossFit Sub-Zero at the time when you won the championship?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So did that give your business a boost?
Not at all.
It didn't. No. So honesty is a big part of this program,
for sure,
and I love that. Thank you.
I mean, it's great. People love that. You get in podium pictures on Facebook and Instagram where you're standing. That's the picture you want to be in at the end of the day. Is you and two other dudes on that steps, first, second, third, and you got your medal or your giant check or whatever it is, right? Yeah. It's good for image, it's good for branding, but it's not like people lined up outside the door to join the gym. I get a lot of high fives and a lot of congratulations though.
So we like to talk about business, and business in a lot of ways is money. Tell me about your giant check. What is the Masters, if you don't mind me asking, what does the Masters CrossFit Ontario champion get paid?
There was no check for that.
No.
I think I got a super cool medal.
Right.
And some other cool stuff that I don't remember off the top of my head, because it's always a prize bag. That's I was the Masters champion, which was cool. It was accomplished the mission. I set out a year before to go to that show and to do well, at least to make a podium. We say a podium's a win. So if you get in the top 3, that's a victory, right? So that was my goal a year in advance. I blogged about it, talked about it, and then I went and executed it. And it was pretty cool.
As you know, Bobby has many names and many accomplishments. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about how accomplishments can turn into business. We're going to get into the business side of athletics, fitness, weightlifting, CrossFit, strength and conditioning. Be right back. Ask an Innovator. I like to call him Coach Kwasny.
It's all good.
Welcome back to Ask an Innovator. I am with lead dog Kwasny, Bobby Kwasny. We have an interesting kind of a stat. We're going to talk about business a little bit, the business of fitness a little bit. Here's an interesting stat I was researching this morning. Over 70 million Americans paid gym membership fees last year. For the second year in a row, actual gym visits exceeded 5 billion. For the past 10 years, memberships have grown 20% yearly. around the world, there are 200,000 fitness clubs earning $200 billion. How is the fitness industry in Thunder Bay performing?
To me, I think it's doing great. I think there's some super cool gyms. I train at a bunch of them. The big box gyms. I don't know if I can can I mention names on the air?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I currently, between my gym and I train at Push.
Yeah.
I used to train at Mavati. I spent a year over there. I think it's good. I think it's adequate. Like the people in Thunder Bay, their services are being, or their needs are being met, I think. I'm not really a grassroots guy. I don't spend a lot of time talking with people as they walk in the door like the people selling memberships do. But from what I can see, there's a really good variety. There's the big box gyms, there's the small, if you will, boutique gyms like ourselves, and there's places in between. You know, there's boot camps, and there is like a place like the Canada Games Complex or a place like Mavati. They've got tons of programming, lots of classes, because the big barrier for so many people is when they get to the gym. It's great to buy a gym membership, but if you don't know what to do when you get there, you know, you're just somebody trying not to look dumb at the gym, and that's really a big fear, which I can't relate to because I'm probably more comfortable in a gym than I am anywhere else. Yeah. But when you start talking to people who are terrified to go to a gym, and I'm like, you're terrified to go to a gym?
Right. I love that you pointed that out. Talk to us about how do you become unintimidated by a gym? How do you encourage someone who's intimidated, because a lot of people are, to visit a gym?
Yeah.
Would you say that sometimes the biggest, scariest looking, muscly person is often the most friendly? Yeah,
I mean, for sure. Like, I've had that experience for sure. Like, I've worked at tons of gyms, probably 50 different gyms all over North America. And you get all different kinds of shapes and sizes of people. And people, I think familiarity, you just got to spend time. I just had one of our members, a member join our gym, and he was a bit intimidated. You know, he's in his mid 50s. He's not in the best shape as he used to be. And our gym is super friendly, not to sound like I'm pumping our tires, but everybody's really friendly. Everybody knows your name. You're going to get high-fived everywhere you go. So I think having that kind of cohesiveness within your gym, between the members, trying to keep, I mean, our gym is drama-free, trying to eliminate that stuff or keep it as away from your regular customers as you can, because I think that scares a lot of people off. So
what one piece of advice would you give that person who's intimidated by gym culture?
Just get in the door, man. You know,
just face it.
Just show up, bro.
Yeah.
Get in your car, put on Macklemore Glorious, drive to the gym, listen to it again, you know, say a prayer, and get your butt in the gym. Something happens to me too. I have tough days too, man. I say even cowgirls get the blues. And my big thing, I had a kind of a real day a couple days ago, and it was, dude, just get to the gym, walk in the door, and something happens. You know, the whole process of going to the gym just wakes you up and makes you feel so much better.
I love it.
And exposing yourself to intense exercise has a way of clearing your mind, dude.
Sure it does.
Because if you could be there and you got so many monkeys running around your head, and then you get in the squat rack, you get your warm up done, you get in the squat rack, and all of a sudden you're like, what was I so upset about before?
Amazing.
Just get to the door. Get to the door.
Recently, in your business, you restructured your business from a CrossFit gym to a strength and conditioning gym.
Correct.
Why did you make that move?
CrossFit's great. It really is. CrossFit changed my perception of how training could be done or should be done, depending on your perception of it. And it got people moving around. It's funny how a lot of the days that we do now are a lot similar to days I did 10, 12, 15 years ago with my clients. Strength and conditioning is strength and conditioning. But CrossFit exposed me, at least, I can't speak for anybody else, to a way to use strength training in very creative ways, to integrate it into different parts of your workout. And we're a CrossFit gym for 7 years, very proud, but we just kind of evolved away from that system into more what we're doing now.
Part of your restructure had a lot to do with online consulting.
Right.
The importance of the internet, the importance of social media. How do you feel about the importance of of social media in your business?
Yeah, it's a tough business because it's a fitness industry, and the fitness industry has done unbelievable things for so many people, myself included. If it wasn't for the gym, I don't know where I'd be, Cole. I mean, like we've all been through our experiences, right?
Sure, yeah.
And there was a time in my life when I was struggling with certain demons, and getting to the gym was everything to me, man. Like if I could get to the gym, it was a good day, you know? But the fitness industry is pretty shady too, brother. I tell you that. So there's different ways to market yourself. And I think the best piece of advice I can give somebody who's in the industry or starting a business or even as a personal trainer or somebody who's just an athlete trying to get sponsors is be yourself all the time.
Yeah.
Because you have to be consistent across all your platforms. Otherwise, there's going to be too much hypocrisy. There's going to be things that don't make sense.
Right.
And you won't know when you're switching on to this character to that character. And you're going to be afraid to be yourself on camera. I am who I am all the time.
Yeah, I love it. We always talk about vulnerability on the show. We haven't done one show without talking about vulnerability. And you're as vulnerable as they come. And I appreciate it a ton. Your vibe is very positive. You have a real strength of sending a positive message about the gym. To read between the lines, it sounds as though the gym, in many ways, has made you a better person, could have saved your life.
100%.
In a lot of ways.
There's absolutely no doubt in my mind.
By marketing yourself online, are you affecting more people? Or instead of just doing a personal trainer, one-on-one type relationship, by having an online coaching through your new business, are you able to affect more people positively?
Yeah, for absolutely 100%. The social media reach is more broad than your individual client relationships will ever be. And you never, I get so much inspiration on my Instagram from people who are in the industry or people who even aren't in the industry, and just flipping through and being, man, that guy's doing awesome, or this lady's doing great. What's this guy up to? What's that? Just it's portholes to different, it's rabbit holes of information.
Right.
And you can inspire people, and you never know when a post that you do, whether it's a picture or a message or a quote or a hashtag even, could change somebody's day.
Could you run your business without social media?
Man, that'd be
Could
great.
you run your business analog?
Yeah, that'd be great. You know, because I'm a grassroots guy, man. I've had so many opportunities. I worked in global gyms and big box gyms. I had so many opportunities to go to management, because when you get to a certain level as a trainer, they're like, oh, come and make some real money in management. And I'm like, no, dude, I want to be on the floor, bro.
Right.
I love being on the gym floor. I love the smell of chalk and sweat, and that when you smell your hands after they've touched a barbell or a dumbbell. I love that stuff. I'm always going to love it.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
If you were to recommend one exercise, if you could only do one exercise for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Sleep.
Sleep is the number one exercise.
100%.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work.
Because if you're not recovered, in the gym, you're not going to get anywhere. I know the low-hanging fruit is squat, right? Everybody says the
You're
squat.
sick and tired. You're sick of answering this question.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I heard you interview the guys from Red Zone.
Right.
I did my own intel, right?
Right.
And so Charles Poliquin, who's one of my mentors and is a great dude, said if he could do one exercise the rest of his life, he would do the snatch grip deadlift from a 4-inch deficit.
Okay.
So if I may stand on the shoulder of giants, I'm going to go with that.
Right.
But back squat is awesome, man. It's such a great metaphor for life. It's man's greatest victory is the silent conquest of himself, right?
Right.
So it's like you load the bar up, you put it on your back, because that's what we do as dudes all the time.
Yeah.
I can't speak for how women are, but dudes make things unnecessarily hard on themselves all the time. So you load that bar up with the squat, you put it on your back, and you curl down into a little hole, a little ball, and then you stand up against adversity over and over and over again. And it teaches you something about basically just standing up, facing your fears and putting your best foot forward every day.
I love it.
Thanks.
Perfect segue. Before at the break, we were talking about segues. The last part of the show was always about emotion. We like to talk about the emotion of any side of business, what the innovator has to go through. Face your fears. Fear is a very powerful emotion. When we come back with Bobby Kwasny, AKA Lead Dog, we're going to talk a little bit about fears. We're going to talk a little bit about the emotion in business. Ask an Innovator. Stay with us. Welcome back to Ask an Innovator. We're going to talk to Bobby a little bit right now about the emotional side of business. We're going to talk a little bit about the importance maybe of spirituality. Spirituality comes in many forms. I have a quick little Conor McGregor MMA champion. It's not that much of a quick quote. It's actually a few sentences, but bear with me. I believe in believing. My coach is an atheist, and he's always trying to persuade people to his way of thinking. And I think, what a waste of energy. If people want to believe in this or that God, that's fine by me. Believe away. But I think we can be our own gods. I believe in myself. Again, that's a quote by Conor McGregor, MMA champion. Bobby, What do you think? Believe in yourself? Believe in God?
I believe in God.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I drive him crazy.
Yeah.
I'm always talking to him like I was outside in the parking lot praying.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, Lord, I hope this goes okay.
Yeah, it's
just
going great.
every day, all day, man. I just have that open line of communication.
Yeah.
And dude, faith is faith, and people have. I don't mean to talk about religion. I'm not Ned Flanders here.
Sure.
But people talk about higher powers and this and that. I'm like, dude, I'm a God and Jesus guy. I'm a steak and potato guy.
Right.
You know, that's what I'm into.
Down home.
They've been great to me. Hopefully I've represented them well.
Yeah.
They pulled me out of some really tough times and they propel me to great things. And I'm always super grateful.
Amazing. The people talk about emotional health and physical health. Clearly, your relationship with God helps with the emotional health, therefore the physical health. Do you find that going to a gym helps not just your physical body, but also your emotional state?
100%.
And which would you say one is more powerful than the other?
When I'm at the gym, especially at our gym, when I'm by myself or one of my dogs is or one of the dogs is with me, I have incredibly high connections with God. Like it's so fulfilling. It's so gratifying. It's amazing. It's an amazing connection because I heard a quote once that God's never happier than when he sees his children at play. And dude, when I'm in the gym, man, it's playtime.
Yeah. Has this happened overnight, your first time in the gym or your first time doing a triathlon or your first time really excelling in fitness? Did it happen overnight or has it taken a year, 2 years, 3 years? Has it taken time to develop this relationship with emotion, spirituality?
Absolutely, 100%. Just like, I always talk to people about confidence and discipline. They're like muscles. The more you work them, the stronger they're going to get. And the same thing with your faith. When I was a triathlete, I used to pray before races just because that's what I thought was cool to do. It wasn't really a two-way communication. It was kind of more just me talking because I wasn't really equipped. I didn't really know how to listen to God at that time. So over time, I said the other day, the best part of being alive is growing old, man. And if you're hard and strong in your faith, that journey brings you closer to God all the time. And that's why as we age, we get closer to the Lord. And that's the best feeling in the world, baby.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love we're talking about age again. And when I first moved back to Thunder Bay and we were rekindled at the time a few years ago, you were training to compete in a physique contest.
Correct.
And the dieting part of the physique contest is really extreme. To me, it's extreme. And I've seen a lot of people go through some really challenging emotions, trying to lose weight, look good for the stage. Some of the challenges and the emotions that go into that. What do you rely on to get through those days?
My wife mostly.
Yeah, Andrea is amazing.
Like when I made a weird transition out of CrossFit, I didn't leave the sport because I wanted to. I sustained a couple of pretty bad shoulder injuries that led to a couple of shoulder surgeries. Thank you, Dr. Wilson. Because everything's great right now, but I'll never be able to compete in functional fitness again. There's just no overhead strength. So I didn't leave because it wasn't like okay, it's time to retire from CrossFit. It was like, what am I going to do now? So the same situation that I had in my early 20s, I was looking for external validation always, right? And I knew that my path was always to compete. I know that. That's who I am.
Yeah.
And so I saw men's physique, and dude, as you age and as your body breaks down, the list of things that you're able to do at a high level shrink, pretty dramatically. So when I decided to do men's physique, I just attacked it like I do with anything else. I educated myself. I spent time in the gym and the diet and everything. And it was tough. Like I went to the Ontarios and I got my butt kicked, came last. And I had a really tough experience, man. I've never been that bad at anything ever in my life. Like I'm an athlete. I've been average or good at just about everything.
Right.
And after getting my butt handed to me at the Ontarios, I sat outside and I was like, how did this happen? I had 5 minutes to myself before Andrea came out. And I was like, how did I get here? How did this happen? And I swore to myself I wouldn't step on stage till I was ready again. I was not going to. I made some mistakes the last kind of 24 hours before, which made things harder on me than they needed to be, which is, I guess, what we do. So there was a moment where I was like, I was completely stripped naked because I didn't have that athletic bravado to protect me from so many things. I couldn't just brush it off and be like, oh, whatever. Like I was really hurting. Like it was a really tough, embarrassing situation for me. So what do, Cole? You look up. You pray, man. You pray and you look for meaning, and you know that through every tough time that I've ever been through in my life. And I hate saying this because it sounds so overly positive and like Susie Sunshine, but you go through the toughest times of your life, the best things come out of those.
Is failure important to you? And do you keep failure close?
I remind myself about how bad I suck at certain things all the time. Like I keep my competitor buttons, which is like wearing your jersey, on my alarm clock every day, and I look at those two from my 2 previous shows that again didn't go that well comparatively to other people. And yeah, I remind myself all the time. But in the gym, the gym is so black or white, at least the way that we train. You don't need a constant reminder of failure because you're failing all the time in the gym, right?
Right.
And I've been through so many different things in my life that failing at an athletic event is not failure.
Right.
Not entering might be more than that. But if you get yourself through everything and you're giving an honest effort, there's no failure in that.
What do you mean that you're failing all the time when you're in the gym?
Wow, you just, let's try, I know I can get 8 with this, maybe I'll try 10.
Right.
How much can I lift on this bar? How much can I squat? So you're constantly reminded, or at least I'm constantly reminded of my limitations.
Right. I love it. I think that's fantastic. Failure is again a big part of this show, and identifying with failure. We said vulnerability earlier. We talked a little bit about vulnerability. We always like to touch on it. I always like to ask my guests about vulnerability. Is vulnerability important to you?
I don't think it's important to me. I don't think I wake up every morning I don't try to be humble or vulnerable. It's just the way things happen. It's just my perception of things. And if you'd had this conversation with me 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago, it would have gone completely different. But as you age, you get better perspective on things. I think you're more forthcoming with your weaknesses. I think that as I watch people and the people I gravitate towards on social media or in the media in general, they're very forthcoming and vulnerable. It's like nobody's perfect, dude. So if I come on here or wherever I go and pretend to be like I never make a mistake and everything is great and everything is rosy all the time, your audience is only going to pay so much attention because they can't relate to you. And there's something about kind of exposing yourself to your audience. I think it's very sincere. And then when I'm out and about, whether it's in the gym or at the mall or at the grocery store, people come up to me and talk to me about it, and they're like, man, you were talking about depression or you're talking about anxiety, which are big things, especially this time of year, right? And they give me a hug and they're saying, just thank you for sharing that. Somebody like you going through something like that made me feel better.
You make me feel better. That
Thanks,
was
Cole.
vulnerable.
Thanks, buddy.
We're going to close with this. Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. Our community is lucky to have been led by risk takers like Bobby. Putting himself out there for a healthier community is selfless and literally, tiresome. A true profession of passion. So be like Bobby, follow your passions, open a business. Make sure it is something though that interests you and something that you like to do, as they are one and the same. My name's Cole. This is Bobby. This is Ask an Innovator. See you next week.